for your attendance tonight. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Morton, Councillor Latimer. Now therefore be it resolved that this meeting of September the 23rd, 2025, regular meeting of council be called to order at 6 p.m. By Mayor Gould, and indicate that Councillor Manson submitted his regrets and provided a proxy form through Councillor Grant to the CAO clerk treasurer, naming Councillor Grant as his proxy. Form has been achieved. All those in favor? Carried. Approval of the agenda. Mover and a seconder. Councillor Morton, Councillor Grant. Now therefore be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of Calvin hereby approves the agenda as circulated. Any questions or comments? None. All in favor? And that is carried. Declarations of pecuniary or conflict of interest. Are there any? Going once, going twice, none. Moving on, approval of the previous minutes. I need to move in a seconder. Councillor Morton and Councillor Latimer. Now therefore be it resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting of September the 9th, 2025 be approved as presented and circulated. Are there any comments or questions? None. All in favor? Carried. Delegations to council, we have none. So business arriving from previous council meetings, the Castle Homes Castle Arms matter. So just so everyone's up to date, we attended, or I attended, a Castle Arms meeting, and we had passed a resolution in council stating that we felt that the Castle Home and Castle Arms people should call for a meeting of a mediator, and then at their cost mediate what the questions that they have are, and then bring that forward to the public. What then happened at the meeting, I learned, was that Castle Home says it's not involved, and it's the 9 municipalities and the mayors that are the ones that are dealing with Castle Arms. But our motion still stood that we were not getting involved at this point in time. It was decided that mediation would be the next step, and before anything else happened, another meeting would be called by the one chair for all of the mayors and CAOs. I just reaffirmed by sending a letter to all of the mayors and CAOs stating that Calvin would not be involved in any kind of publicity that was defamatory or accusatory, and that we were just supporting the mediation. So that's a full report of what that is. John, did you want to add anything? No? Are there any questions, concerns? No? All right. So just a mover and a seconder to bring this resolution forward. Councillor Morton and Councillor Grant. Now therefore be resolved that the Council for the Corporation and Municipality received an information update from Mayor Gould, and that no other action is necessary at this time. All those in favor? And that is carried. Consent agenda items. I'm sure everyone's had a chance to go through them. Was there any items that anyone wanted to bring forward?
Just a special mention.
Okay.
Item number 7.6, our OSIF allocation has now moved from the minimum of 100 to now a minimum of 125 in 2026.
Okay. I just noticed in the consent items, it is in consent, so it is public. That's 7.6. 1 second. Yes. Sorry. 1 sec. I just noticed this here.
It's been made public, you're in the paper with the quotation that you had.
Okay.
Yeah, so they.
Okay, so we're on.
Yeah, made it public, yeah.
So we're up to 150 now, instead of
125.
125? All right, so if nothing is going to be moved forward, now therefore be it resolved. Oh, sorry, I need a mover and a seconder to accept the consent agenda. Councillor Morton, Councillor Grant. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation Municipality of Calvin hereby receive the consent agenda items as presented. All in favor? And that is carried. So moving on to administrative matters. First item on the agenda is a bylaw to establish a fire department. And Madam CAO had some changes to that. You want
Yeah,
So
just
mention.
on behalf of the fire chief, there were just some really tightening up the bylaws. So if you go to appendix A. And Mayor Gold, you recall when we were in Pennsville at that last meeting, we spoke of making sure that your bylaw for fire, the establishment of a fire department, be really clear about the services that you do provide.
right?
So fire chief has gone through it, and in appendix A and then further down below appendix B, fire suppression. The old bylaw simply said fire suppression. Now it says limited to interior attack with no expected rescue or recovery. Motor vehicle collisions, auto extrication now says with no expected rescue or recovery. In patient care, the standard first aid CPR is the addition there. Fire suppressant when deemed safe is the addition. On to number 5, off-road rescue, assist to ambulance. 6, trapped patients except hoisting objects. So these are all things that they can and can't do. So it's really clarifying what the Calvin Fire Department will and won't do in the case of their services. 8, fire prevention and education. 9, standard first aid and CPR level C, which follows, what follows there is the addition. 4, province of Ontario, we now have the municipal reimbursement program for emergency response to unincorporated Ontario. That was new since the last time. And then number 6, the tiered response. Again, the standard first aid CPR line is new in that bylaw. So those are the only changes to the existing bylaw.
And they're all in appendix A and B.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any questions or comments on this is a bylaw that has to be reestablished annually, so. Any questions, comments? None? All right, a mover and a seconder to accept the bylaw, please. Councillor Morton, Councillor Grant. Okay. You want me to read the whole?
I think you're good.
Yeah. All right, so all those in favor of accepting bylaw? And that is carried. Next item on the agenda is 8.2. This is the CEO's report on the application for funding. It's more of an information report, but
It's just to announce that that if every funder were so quick, TC Energy accepted our application at $9,500, and that will allow the fire department to purchase one SCBA.
right on.
Thank you, TransCanada Energy.
But it takes a year and a half to get the money though, correct?
This? No, surely you just, no.
It's not one government agency, but it's another
It's private sector.
private sector.
Private sector, well, that's why it goes quicker. All right, just a mover and a seconder to accept the report. Councillor Morton, Councillor Grant. Now therefore be resolved that Council for the Corporation Municipality of Calvin accepts the report entitled CEO Report, results of a TC Energy application for funding and authorizes the CEO to enter into the funding agreement with TC Energy. Last comments or questions? All in favor? and that is carried. Road allowance purchase. This is something that you wanted to address, Anna, or Donna?
If anyone has any questions, otherwise the resolution is there. Any questions on it?
Okay, so has everyone read the resolution? Yeah? Okay, are there any questions, comments on the resolution? Okay, I'll read it as such. Whereas council has received and considered application RE 2025-01 from Ayla Hay to purchase the inland road allowance adjacent to the properties legally described as concession 5, part lot 30, PR 36R 10804, and part 2, parcel 289998 Nipissing, and concession 5, part lot 30, RP 36R 10628, part 1, parcel 28890 Nipissing. And whereas the road superintendent recommends that council approve in principle the application to purchase the said road allowance, now therefore be it resolved that council for the corporation and municipality of Calvin agrees to declare the subject property surplus to the needs of the municipality, and furthermore that the application be approved in principle conditional upon receipt of a non-refundable deposit of $3,000 to be paid to the municipality of Calvin to cover anticipated expenses of legal, newspaper publication, land searches, etc., with the understanding that it is not guaranteed the deposit will fulfill the obligation for legal procedures, and a request for top-up funds may be necessary. And furthermore, that upon receipt of the deposit, the CAO forward the file to the municipal solicitor, who will correspond with the applicant for the purposes of completing the sale as per processes outlined in bylaw 2025-04. And finally, that recommendations of the solicitor be brought back to council for their consideration for the purpose of closing the application file. Questions?
I have one question. Okay, so it does come back one final time, right? So it's in principle, and I just have a quick question. Are we aware, do they own the land on both sides?
They own the land on the, they own the adjacent property. The landowner on the other side has signed off on the map and the application to say they agree to the sale.
Oh, okay. All right, well, that was just gonna be my question, just to compare between two properties. It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
I do have a question. I have a question as well, and maybe it's for future reference. If this comes up again, it's sold by the square meter or price per meter. So how do you determine, how's that price per meter determined?
The applicant is required to get a survey, which will determine the exact square meter of that road allowance.
Okay.
And cost is in our user fee bylaw.
Okay,
Yeah.
which is what? What is it? Do you know it off by, have you memorized that user fee guide or not?
I don't want to answer incorrectly, counselor, so I will have to get back to you, but it's like less than $2.
I think it's not, I thought it was, oh yeah, maybe I won't answer incorrectly. I thought
Yeah.
it was like $7.
Yeah, so I'll have to get back to you on that.
That's fine. Thank you.
That's an excellent question, though.
And the lawyer, we don't see it after this leaves the tonight. It will just go off to the lawyer and they will come back with all of that.
That's what I mean. This is, we're not approving it. We're just moving it on to the step by step here.
Right, because the council has to agree to stop up and close the highway. So once all the lawyers speak to each other and the surveys get done, et cetera, notice has to be also placed, like a planning application. Notice will be sent to the Crown, et cetera. And then the lawyer figures all that out and takes into consideration all of the comments. And then all of that will come back to the municipality as a stop up and close.
And none of it is at the expense of the township, right?
Right.
No, that's why the deposit is placed.
And again, we're not involved at all from this point forward until the recommendation comes back to you from the lawyer.
Thank you.
All right. Good questions all. Any other questions or comments? None? So I'll call, I did get a mover and a seconder, yes? No? Mover and a seconder, Councillor Morton, seconder. Councillor Latimer. So I'll bring this to a vote. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. Next one is brought forward by Councillor Morton, our recommendation that remuneration for the mayor and all councillors be frozen at 2025 rates. Any questions or comments? Go ahead.
I'll start out. Well, at the last meeting, there was a multifaceted resolution put forward regarding remuneration, and during comments, it was defeated. But staff mentioned that at the last meeting, this just freezing the wages would be an easy solution. It wouldn't impact the staff too much. I personally don't understand why we get cost of living increases on a remuneration that's not a living salary. And then further, that the committee was going to look at the other aspects or factors of remuneration other than this freezing it.
So can I just clarify? This was your motion, though. Staff wasn't consulted about this motion. Like you presented it to be presented.
Yes, but the last meeting, staff made comments that the motion before the council at the last meeting was that if we just froze, that wouldn't be a large impact on staff. So then as a result of that motion by the mayor that was defeated, I thought rather than being so multifaceted, let's freeze the pays for now and then work on the other aspects of that motion through a committee.
Okay, but the motion here has nothing to do with anything else. It's just.
And then freezing.
Other than freezing. Yeah, go ahead.
I just, I'd like to clarify, because, I guess, we might consider, making the motion a little bit more specific to, cost of living. Just because, if we do discuss, if we get around to discussing the remediation, I do think that, the way that we're handling committees and boards, I think that there should be a small increase or some clarification around that, in my opinion. And I just wouldn't want to see, I think it'd be unfortunate not to be able to do that after we've passed this. So I guess what I'm saying is, and I don't know, Bill, if this was your intent, but this is referring to the cost of living, not the cost of living,
The current remuneration rate would be.
Just
the base salary.
The base salary only.
that's what I would support.
Yes, and that's what this is. This
Okay.
is the base remuneration. If I remember,
Just see where I'm going and just.
your comments at the last meeting were that would be something we would do in the new year.
Well, ideally,
Right.
it should be done in a new year.
Right, so this is just, you can't freeze retroactively
Yes.
the wages. So this is just saying we're holding them at their current levels until the end of the term. And the rest of the pay plan can be discussed in January.
Is that okay, as long as that's the way it is, because I think the board should
Right,
all.
so this is not addressing any of those other items. This is just the base remuneration being frozen.
I support that, it's not, sure,
I think that you should then add that the base remuneration,
I think so too. I think we should just
Where-
make
where
it
do we add that?
specific.
move that the base remuneration.
Just add one more.
Okay, that, yes, I see.
And I'm not sure if that's.
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
Or not, but I feel quite strongly that,
The base remuneration, yes, you're right,
Yeah.
and it should be there. Do you agree?
Okay, I just know we have to put the reins on it at some point.
Right. Any other questions, Counselor? Anybody? All right, then I'll call it to a vote. I need a mover. The mover is Counselor Morton, seconded by Counselor Grant. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation Municipality of Calvin hereby move that the base remuneration for the mayor and all councillors be frozen at the current 2025 rates effective immediately until the end of the council's term. All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is agencies, boards and committees. Why is- Okay, North Bay Mattawa Area Conservation Authority.
Yeah, we could, gotta beat my record. The North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority, I only have a verbal report. Our next meeting is October the 8th. We have approved a new hiring process for a new CAO. It's about the only news right now. Thank you.
All right, thank you. East Nipissing Planning Board, Councillor Grant and Mayor Gould. This is, do you mind if I start off, Councillor Grant?
I prefer you start off, yeah.
All right. We were not able to move forward on the application for the Levine file because we did not have all of the agencies reporting, so that was deferred. And there was another item from another municipality that was also deferred. Someone brought forward a report and we weren't told exactly who brought it forward, but in this report, it stated that it is the planning board's responsibility to always consider zoning regulations before granting any severance. And this was discussed by the members of the planning board at length, management and all of the board members. And the overwhelming majority stated that the role of the planning board is to do severances and not be involved in zoning. And they stated that it is a mistake to think that the planning board should be making decisions based on zoning. And they stated in the meeting that this was the municipality's responsibility. My recommendation based on that would be that then when we are asked to comment on any plan, that we state that it is the applicant's responsibility to research the Planning Act and make sure that they're in line with the current zoning bylaws. And that's all I can say. And I'll turn it over to you, Councillor Grant.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's some ongoing debate with the board and its role. And just one thing, like, I really do see this from a big picture kind of perspective. And I've sat on the police services board, planning board, I've sat on the conservation board, a few different boards. I'm not a board expert, but I really do feel the planning board is just about as efficient at what they do as they can be. What I mean by that is the costs are quite reasonable for what they're offering. Your bureaucracy is low, and I believe it to be a very efficient board. So I think, to look to, redefine the board, add more responsibilities and make changes, I see that this board will become much more expensive. And will not run as efficiently. And if we add more layers of bureaucracy, severances will slow. So I think Mayor Gould's recommendation is logical. There's potentially a gap on some zoning recommendations. I mean, the board's done outrageous number of severances. I mean, whatever the number is, it's not, there's only so many that come in a year, but there's very little problems in my opinion. The odd file as an issue. So, if we can make applicants aware that, whatever you want to build, you make sure that you do, if you want to hire a planner, or you want to hire someone looking at zoning, that you should do that. Instead of forcing costs and changing structure and doing some things. So I don't know, I think it's logical. I think we have much bigger kind of things to deal with. And, I think that Mayor Gould's recommendations are reasonable, and I think we should just move on. But that's my opinion.
All right. Any comments from anyone?
From a staff perspective, I just want to one more time mention that we do not have a copy of what the planning board's role is. There's no agreement that we can find, and I've asked for that a number of times. So while we debate what the role is and whether or not they should follow the Planning Act as far as what a board should do or shouldn't do, we do not have a copy of the agreement that rests between the three municipalities and the establishment of the planning board and their role specifically.
So this is a request from staff to the board members to go back to the planning board and once again to ask for terms of reference so that it's more clear what the role is.
Well, the agreement, when we pay an invoice, I don't know what we're paying for.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. So this is, what you're suggesting is that the board members on the planning board go back to the next planning board meeting and bring forth the request that we require
A copy of the
a
agreement.
copy of the agreement so that we can do that. So Councilor Grant?
I have no issue with that. I mean, I just want to make sure that,
And we're putting to rest what we think the
Right.
role of the organization is.
Well, let's do that. That's, I have no problem. We just, at the next planning meeting, we'll both jointly say that it's a request of council that we bring forth not we bring forth, that we require them to provide us with the terms of reference.
A copy of the agreement agreement
Right.
between the three municipalities, and terms of reference is your role on the board.
Okay, so then a copy of the agreement. All right?
Can we get a resolution
I
for
would-
that?
No, I think we
That's a
could
good
just,
thing if you put a resolution that council is requesting. That would be
I
good.
think we can just do it, but
I think we can just do it as well, but and it's
I mean,
public.
as a board member,
And we're talking about the agencies and boards, so we're bringing this forward as a board.
If council wants to request that.
Yes,
if Council requests.
If anybody on council would like to do a formal resolution,
I was just
No, no,
asking.
it's council's request, not staff's request, right?
right. So I'm not quite clear where we're going.
You don't want a resolution, it's stated.
It's stated, okay. Positions recruitment, the next meeting, they will meet quarterly is the day before our next council meeting, so I'll have a report on the next council meeting. Regional Police Services Board, Councilor Grant.
so currently happening as we speak is a meet and greet for various board members. I obviously have a conflict, so could not attend. That's in North Bay. And our meeting was supposed to be tomorrow night at 6:30. And we haven't met for a while. It's only quarterly, and that's been postponed till October. Boy. I don't have the date. I'll have to get back to you. I think it's like the 20th or something like that. So the meeting just got postponed by a couple weeks, just because of that meet and greet today. They wanted time to incorporate anything that they learned in the next meeting. And it's unfortunate I couldn't attend, but I thought this would be more important. So that's basically the update.
Okay, the Canadian Ecology Center, we have not had a meeting in quite some time, ever since the June 21st storm event. But I did receive an email from the chair of the Ecology Center, and actually not the chair, from
Staff.
the staff. And it states that the park, Samuel de Champlain, will stay closed until January the 1st. 2026. So the Canadian Ecology Center will have to stay closed until then. During the fall, we'll find out what the park has in store for opening to the public during the winter with limited access, trails, etc. But the park itself will remain closed until January the 1st. So unfortunately, they're all put on hold as they're in the middle of the park as well. And the Castle Home exit strategy. We, CAO of, Capano Cameron has sent a letter to the Honorable Natalie Kusendova Bashta, who is the minister, and has requested that since 30 days have passed since their RCAO, the mayor and CEO of Mattawa and the CEO of Capano Cameron have met, that he's looking for an update as to what's on the mind of the ministry. And that was on September the 19th, so we haven't heard back yet. So really nothing much to tell you other than they've contacted her and said, well, what's going on? And we're just waiting for an answer. Any questions, comments? Yes?
Going back to the physicians recruitment, you said that the next meeting was the Monday before our next meeting.
Correct.
It's Thanksgiving.
Well, thankfully we'll have a meeting. That's what it shows on my schedule, so. Oh, I guess maybe that'll get rescheduled. You might be right. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Right? So resolution 2025, on the ABCs, I just need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Morton. Councillor Grant. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council for the Corporation and Municipality of Calvin accepts the agency's boards, committee reports and minutes provided by council members at this meeting. All those in favor? And as well, so that is carried. And closed session, just moving into a closed session. I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Morton. Councillor Latimer. Now therefore be it resolved that Council for the Corporation and Municipality of Calvin move into a closed session at 6:32 p.m. to discuss litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals, and advice is subject to solicitor client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. All those in favor? Carried. So we are now in closed.